The stars shone brightly in the darkness of space. Among them, 500 warships moved in perfect formation. At the center of this mighty fleet was the Imperial command ship, Final Word. Inside its control room, Admiral Taijo stood with his hands behind his back, looking at the blue planet on the main screen. "How long until we reach Earth orbit?" Admiral Taijo asked. His voice was calm but firm. 3 hours, Admiral," said Officer Suho, working at his control panel. Admiral Taijo nodded. This would be his 40th conquest for the Galactic Empire. After 500 years of expansion, the Empire now ruled over 2,000 star systems. Earth would soon be number 2001. "What do we know about this planet?" Taijo asked. Commander Minji stepped forward with a data pad. She was the fleet's top diplomat, sent ahead of conquests to give planets one chance to surrender without a fight. Earth has about 8 billion humans. They have basic space travel, but only within their own solar system. They have many countries and speak many languages. They fight wars against each other often, Minji reported. Taijo smiled. Divided and primitive. This will be easy. "There is one strange thing," Minji said. "Our long-range scans show unusual energy patterns around the planet. We don't know what they are." Taijo waved his hand. "Probably just their primitive technology interfering with our scans. Prepare your shuttle for the diplomatic mission." "Yes, Admiral." Minji bowed and left the bridge. On Earth, in a small farming village outside Seoul, South Korea, Do-hyun walked through his rice fields. The morning was peaceful. Birds sang in the trees nearby. Do-hyun had lived all his 40 years in this village. He liked the simple life. His phone rang. It was his daughter. "Dad, are you watching the news?" she asked, her voice excited. "No, I'm checking the fields," he replied. "They're saying strange objects are approaching Earth from space. Everyone is talking about it. The government called an emergency meeting." Do-hyun looked up at the sky. It looked normal to him. "Maybe it's just satellites," he said. "No, Dad. They think it's aliens. Real aliens." Before Do-hyun could answer, he saw something strange in the sky. A bright light was moving fast, getting bigger. It looked like it was coming straight toward his farm. "I'll call you back," he said quickly. At the United Nations in New York, world leaders gathered in an emergency session. On giant screens, scientists showed images of the alien fleet. Dr. Yoona Kim, South Korea's top physicist, stood at the podium. "These ships are unlike anything we've built. They use technology we don't understand. And they're definitely coming to Earth." The room filled with nervous voices. The President of the United States stood up. "Do we have any way to defend ourselves if they're hostile?" Dr. Yoona shook her head. "Our best weapons would be like throwing rocks at a tank." Just then, an aide rushed to Dr. Yoona and whispered in her ear. Her eyes widened. "We just got word that a smaller ship has broken from the fleet. It appears to be heading directly to Earth. It will enter our atmosphere in 20 minutes. In her shuttle, Commander Minji reviewed the standard surrender speech. She had delivered it 30 times before. Most planets gave up without a fight when they saw the size of the Imperial fleet. "Entering Earth's atmosphere in 5 minutes," said the pilot. Minji nodded and straightened her uniform. She had a perfect record. No planet had ever chosen to fight after her visit. Suddenly, red lights flashed throughout the shuttle. Warning alarm sounded. "What's happening?" Minji demanded. The pilot frantically worked the controls. "All systems are failing. Nothing is responding." Minji rushed to the control panel. Every screen showed error messages. The engine stopped. The shuttle began to fall. "Send distress signal to the fleet," Minji ordered. "Communications are down," the pilot shouted. "Everything is dead." The shuttle plummeted toward Earth, spinning out of control. Through the window, Minji saw green fields rushing up to meet them. Do-hyun watched in shock as the strange object in the sky trailed smoke and fire. It was definitely going to crash, and it was heading straight for his rice fields. He ran toward his tractor. The object hit the ground with a massive boom that shook the earth. Mud and water sprayed high into the air. Do-hyun covered his face but kept running toward the crash. When he reached the site, he saw a strange metal shape, nothing like any airplane he knew. Part of it was underwater in his flooded rice field. Smoke poured from it. Without thinking, Do-hyun waded into the water and reached the strange craft. He found what looked like a door and pushed against it. To his surprise, it opened. Inside, he saw people who looked human, but their clothes were strange. One of them, a woman, was pinned under fallen equipment. She looked at Do-hyun with wide eyes. On the Imperial command ship, Admiral Taejo watched, in disbelief as Commander Minji's shuttle disappeared from their tracking systems. "Get her back on sensors," he shouted. "We can't find her, Admiral," Officer Suho replied. All signals stopped when she entered the planet's atmosphere. Taejo slammed, his fist on the console. This had never happened before. "Send probe ships to find her," he ordered. 5 small, fast ships launched from the fleet and sped toward Earth. Minutes later, alarms sounded on the bridge. "The probe ships, they're all failing," an officer cried. "Same pattern as the commander's." "Shuttle." Admiral Taejo stared at the screen in shock. "Impossible." "Sir," Officer Suho said, voice shaking, "there appears to be some kind of field around the planet. Anything with our technology that crosses it simply stops working." Taejo had conquered 40 worlds. He had faced armies, advanced weapons, and desperate last stands. But he had never seen anything like this. "Move the fleet back," he ordered. "Keep safe distance from that field." At the United Nations, Dr. Yoon-ha received news of the crashed alien ship. The alien shuttle crashed near Seoul, she told the world leaders, and our satellites show 5 more small alien craft falling from the sky. They all stopped working when they entered our atmosphere. The room was silent as everyone considered what this meant. "Are you saying," the British Prime Minister asked, slowly, "that these aliens, with all their advanced technology, cannot actually reach us?" Dr. Yuna looked at the data on her tablet. "It appears Earth has some natural defense against their technology. I need to study this right away." In the rice field, Do-hyun helped pull the alien woman from the wreckage. Despite her strange clothes, she looked human. She was injured but alive. "Thank you," she said in perfect Korean, surprising Do-hyun. "You speak my language?" he asked. "Universal. Translator," she explained, touching a small device on her collar. "But it's the only thing still working." In the distance, Do-hyun heard sirens. People were coming. "Who are you?" he asked. "Why are you here?" The woman looked at him with a mixture of confusion and respect. "I am Commander Minji of the Galactic Empire. I came to conquer your world." She looked around at her broken ship. "But it seems your world had other ideas." 6 months passed since the day the aliens came. The world had changed. Governments worked together now in ways they never had before. The Earth Defense Initiative, EDI, was formed, with bases in every major country. In Seoul, the largest EDI research center hummed with activity. Scientists from around the world worked day and night to understand what they now called the Shield, Earth's mysterious defense against alien technology. Dr. Yuna stood before a large screen showing complex patterns of energy waves. She had barely slept in months. Her hair was messy, and dark circles showed under her eyes. But there was excitement in her voice as she explained her findings to General Ji-woo, the head of EDI's military division. "The shield is made of 3 parts, she said, pointing to her diagrams. "Earth's liquid metal core creates a magnetic field. Our atmosphere has a special mix of gases, and the sun sends specific radiation patterns. Together, they make something that stops alien tech from working." General Ji-woo nodded slowly. He was a tall man with a serious face. "Can we use this to make weapons?" he asked. Dr. Yoon-ha shook her head. "We don't fully understand it yet, but I have more news. The shield is getting stronger." "Stronger? How?" "Every time the aliens try to get through, the shield pushes back harder. It's like it's learning." In another room of the research center, Commander Minji sat at a table across from 2 EDI officers. She had recovered from her injuries, but was now a prisoner, or as EDI called her, a special guest. "The Grand Admiral will not give up," Minji told them. "The Empire has never failed to conquer a world in 10,000 years." But they can't get through the shield, one officer said. Minji's face was grim. They will find a way. They always do. On his farm outside Seoul, Do-hyun walked with his daughter, Sora. Parts of the alien shuttle still sat in his rice field, surrounded by EDI security fences. Scientists came every day to study it. "Dad, why do you keep visiting her?" Sora asked. She meant Commander Minji. Do-hyun had been allowed to visit the alien woman he had saved, and he went once a week. "She's alone on a strange world," Do-hyun said simply. "And I'm curious about where she comes from." Sora shook her head. "She came to conquer us, Dad." "Yes, but she's still a person. And now she's learning we're people too." In space, beyond the shield's reach, the Imperial fleet had grown. There were now over 1,500 warships surrounding Earth. At the center was the massive dreadnought, Emperor's Will, 3 times larger than any other ship. On its bridge, Grand Admiral Hyunwoo looked at Earth with cold eyes. He had replaced Admiral Taejo, who was sent back to the Empire in disgrace. "Status of probe Type 7? Hyunwoo asked. "Ready to launch, Grand Admiral," said Officer Kang. "This one has triple-layered shielding against electromagnetic interference." Hyunwoo nodded. "Launch." On the main screen they watched as the probe raced toward Earth. It was their 20th attempt to penetrate the shield. The previous 19 had all failed. The probe reached the boundary where the shield began. For a moment, it seemed to pass through. Officer Kang let out a small sound of excitement. Then, the probe's signal went dead. "Another failure," Hyunwoo said coldly. "Prepare the biological messengers." In the EDI Research Center, Dr. Yunha rushed into the meeting room where General Jiwoo was talking with world leaders on a video call. "They're trying something new," she said urgently. "Our satellites detected small pods launched from the alien fleet. They're entering the atmosphere now." On screens around the world, people watched as small egg-shaped objects fell toward Earth. Unlike previous alien craft, these didn't crash. They slowed down and landed gently in different locations. At an EDI base in Brazil, soldiers surrounded one of the pods. It opened, and a creature stepped out. It looked like a tall, thin human with pale blue skin. It held up empty hands to show it carried no weapons. "I bring message from Grand Admiral Hyunwoo," it said in broken English. "Empire will never stop. Find way through shield soon. Surrender now. Save lives." Similar scenes played out in Russia, Australia, India, and Egypt. The aliens delivered the same message, and then simply waited to be captured. In her room at the EDI Center, Minji received a visitor. It was Do-hyun bringing a small plant as a gift. "What is this?" she asked, looking at the little green plant with small white flowers. "Chamomile," Do-hyun said. "My mother grew it. It makes good tea that helps you sleep." Minji smiled slightly. "Thank you. Sleep is difficult here." Do-hyun sat down. "I heard about the messengers your people sent." Minji nodded. "The biological approach, using living beings instead of technology to get through the shield. It's a clever first step." "First step toward what?" "Toward finding the shield's weakness." Minji looked troubled. "Do-hyun, you should know something. The Empire never gives up. Grand Admiral Hyunwoo is one of our greatest military minds, and the Emperor himself is watching this conquest now." Do-hyun was quiet for a moment. "You could help us," he finally said. Minji looked surprised. "Help you? Against my own people?" "They're not really your people anymore, are they? You've been here 6 months. You've met us, talked with us, learned about us. Do you still think we deserve to be conquered?" Minji looked away. "It's not about deserving. The Empire expands. That's what it does. That's all it does." Even if it's wrong, Minji had no answer. At the EDI Center, Dr. Yunha made an exciting discovery. She burst into General Jiwoo's office without knocking. "The shield responded," she said breathlessly. "When the aliens sent their biological messengers, the shield changed its pattern. It's definitely adaptive." General Jiwoo frowned. "Is that good or bad?" Both, Dr. Yuna said. Good because it means the shield is getting stronger with each alien attempt. Bad because it means the shield is something beyond our understanding. It's almost like... Like what? General Jiwoo asked. Dr. Yunha hesitated. Like it's alive somehow. Like Earth itself is fighting back. In space, Grand Admiral Hyunwoo received the reports from his biological messengers. As expected, they had been captured, but they had successfully delivered the message and observed Earth's defenses. Begin Phase 3, Hyunwoo ordered. Target the star. Officer Kang looked uncertain. Sir, modifying a star is extremely dangerous. The calculations must be precise or the Emperor wants results. Hyunwoo cut him off. If we can't go through the shield, we will change what creates it. Deploy the solar resonators. Across the Imperial fleet, strange devices were launched. They took position around Earth's sun and began to pulse with energy. Their goal was to change the sun's radiation patterns, which Dr. Yunha had correctly identified as one part of Earth's natural defense. What the Grand Admiral didn't know was that the shield was already responding, already adapting. As the solar resonators began their work, energy patterns around the sun shifted in unexpected ways. On Earth, Dr. Yuna's monitors suddenly lit up with warnings. She looked at the readings in horror. They're trying to change the sun, she whispered, and the shield is fighting back. In space, the solar resonators began to glow brightly. Then, one by one, they exploded in brilliant flashes of light. On his command ship, Grand Admiral Hyunwoo watched in disbelief. No one dared to speak. For the first time in his long career, he felt something he had never experienced before. Fear. 1 year had passed since the aliens came to Earth. The Galactic Empire's fleet still circled in space, unable to break through Earth's shield. Word of this failure had spread across the galaxy. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Empire could not conquer a world. The Emperor was not pleased. On the bridge of the Emperor's will, Grand Admiral Hyunwoo received a message that made his blood run cold. Lord Sungho's ship has entered the system, Officer Kang reported. His voice shook slightly. Everyone feared Lord Sungho, the Emperor's personal representative. Prepare to receive him, Hyunwoo ordered. His career, perhaps his life, now depended on impressing Lord Sungho. When the Imperial shuttle docked, Lord Sungho stepped onto the bridge. He was tall and thin, wearing black robes that seemed to swallow light. His face was hard, with eyes that missed nothing. Grand Admiral, Lord Sungho said coldly. The Emperor grows tired of excuses. One primitive world defies the might of our empire. This is unacceptable. My lord, Hyunwoo bowed deeply. We have tried every approach. The shield adapts to each attempt. Lord Sungho walked to the viewport and stared at the blue planet. Then we must use methods that leave nothing to adapt to. I have brought the Star Splitter. The officers on the bridge gasped. The Star Splitter was the Empire's most destructive weapon. It could cause a star to explode into a supernova. My lord, Hyunwoo said carefully. Using the Star Splitter would destroy Earth, but also the entire system. Yes, Lord Sungho replied without emotion. Better to destroy it than let others believe the Empire can be defied. On Earth, humans had made great progress. Dr. Yunha and her team had studied the alien technology from crashed ships. They had learned to make new devices that worked with the shield rather than against it. In the EDI headquarters, Dr. Yunha showed General Jiwoo their newest invention. It was a small box with a glowing blue light. This can send messages through the shield, she explained. It uses the shield's own energy patterns instead of fighting against them. General Jiwoo looked impressed. So we can communicate with the aliens now? Yes, but more importantly, we might be able to extend the shield, make it reach farther into space. Before General Jiwoo could respond, a young scientist burst into the room. Doctor, the sun's readings are changing again. The aliens are doing something new. In another part of the EDI facility, Minji sat with Do-hyun in a garden area. Over the past year, their friendship had deepened. Minji was no longer treated as a prisoner. She helped the scientists understand Imperial technology and culture. You look worried today, Do-hyun said, noticing the tension in her face. Minji nodded. I feel something has changed. A shift in the Empire's plans. What do you mean? In all the Empire's history, no one has resisted this long. The Emperor will be angry. He might send... She stopped. Send who? Do-hyun asked. Lord Sung-ho, the Emperor's voice. If he comes, it means the Empire will use its most extreme measures. Do-hyun took her hand. It was the first time he had done this. What can we do? Minji looked at their hands together. I need to tell your leaders everything I know about Imperial weaknesses. I've been holding back, but now... She took a deep breath. Now I choose Earth. That evening, EDI leaders gathered for an emergency meeting. Minji stood before them, speaking clearly and without fear. The Empire has brought the Star Splitter, she told them. It can make your sun explode. They will use it rather than accept defeat. The room erupted in panic. Dr. Yuna called for quiet. How long do we have? She asked Minji. 3 days to prepare the weapon. Then it's over. General Jiwoo looked grim. Can we stop it? Minji shook her head. Not with your current technology. The Star Splitter will be placed at the edge of your Boum solar system beyond the shield's reach. Dr. Yuna thought for a moment. What if we expand the shield? Make it cover the whole solar system? Is that possible? General Jiwoo asked. Maybe, Dr. Yuna said. But it would take enormous power. Every country would need to shut down their power grids to feed the amplifier. And even then it might damage Earth's magnetic field permanently. General Jiwoo nodded slowly. Better damaged than destroyed. I'll speak to world leaders immediately. On the Emperor's will, Lord Sung-ho oversaw preparations for the Star Splitter. The massive weapon was being assembled in space, its parts brought through special portals from the Empire's weapon worlds. Time to deployment? Lord Sung-ho asked. 48 hours, my lord, Officer Kang replied. Good. When it's ready, place it here. Lord Sung-ho pointed to a spot on the star map just beyond Pluto's orbit, far enough from the shield but close enough to affect their sun. As they worked, an officer monitoring communications called out, My lord, we're detecting a signal from Earth. It's using Imperial frequencies. Lord Sung-ho turned sharply. That's impossible. Put it through. On the screen appeared Minji's face. She looked directly at Lord Sung-ho without fear. This is Commander Minji, former diplomatic envoy to Earth. I speak now for both myself and Earth's leaders. Lord Sung-ho's eyes narrowed. Commander Minji, you are a traitor to the Empire. I am a witness to a civilization worthy of respect, Minji replied. Earth offers the Empire a choice, peaceful relations or mutual destruction. Lord Sung-ho laughed coldly. Brave words from a doomed world. What could you possibly threaten us with? The shield is not a natural phenomenon, Lord Sung-ho. It's Earth itself. It lives, it learns, and it's growing stronger. Try to use the Star Splitter, and the shield will extend to meet it. Your weapon will turn against you. Lord Sung-ho ended the transmission. Lies from a traitor, he said. Continue the preparations. At EDI headquarters, Minji turned to Dr. Yunha. He didn't believe me. It doesn't matter if he believed you, Dr. Yunha said. We only needed to keep him talking long enough to trace the signal and locate the Star Splitter. On a large screen, a blinking dot showed the weapon's position. Do-hyun, who had been watching quietly, stepped forward. I had an idea, he said. You said simple technology still works near the shield, right? What about old rockets, the kind from 50 years ago? Dr. Yuna looked surprised. Yes, they might work, but they couldn't possibly reach the Star Splitter in time. They don't need to, Do-hyun said. They just need to carry your amplifier close enough to extend the shield. Minji suddenly understood. Do-hyun's right, and I can pilot it. She looked at him. We can pilot it. I know Imperial systems, and you know how to think in ways the Empire can't understand. General Jiwoo shook his head. It would be a one-way trip. The shield would disable your return systems. Then we'll use parachutes, Do-hyun said simply. Sometimes the old ways are best. Dr. Yunha looked at her monitors. The shield's patterns were shifting. almost as if it was responding to their plans. "We need to act quickly," she said. "The Star Splitter will be ready in less than 2 days, and I think the shield is trying to help us." As the world began to prepare for its most desperate gamble, Minji and Doyun stood together looking at the night sky. "Are you afraid?" Minji asked. "Yes," Doyun answered honestly. "But sometimes the right thing is also the scary thing." Minji nodded. "In the Empire, we're taught that fear is weakness, but now I see it's just being human." She took his hand. "I'm glad I crashed in your rice field, Doyun." He smiled. "I'm glad too, even if it ruined my crop." Above them, the stars shone brightly. Among them lurked the Imperial fleet and the deadly Star Splitter, but also among them, for the first time in 10,000 years, was hope that the Empire could be stopped. Dawn broke over the old rocket launch site in Kazakhstan. Workers rushed around making final checks on a rocket that looked like it belonged in a museum. The tall white rocket had been pulled out of retirement for Earth's most important mission. Inside a nearby building, Dr. Yuna carefully placed the shield amplifier into a protective case. The device was small, about the size of a microwave, but it glowed with blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. "This will extend the shield's reach to the edge of our solar system," she explained to General Jiwoo. "But it must be positioned." "Exactly right." General Jiwoo nodded. "And the power grid shut down?" "All countries are ready. When we give the signal, the entire planet will go dark for 6 hours. All that power will feed into the shield through our equipment here." In another room, Minji helped Dohyun put on a simple spacesuit. It was bulky and old-fashioned compared to Imperial suits, but it would work. "Remember," she said, "once we're in space, we need to disable any advanced technology before it gets near the shield. Our rocket is simple enough to work, but the navigational computers will fail." "That's why we have these," Dohyun said, holding up a paper star chart and an old compass. "And these." He showed her 2 large parachutes. "For when we come back." Minji smiled, but her eyes were sad. "If we come back." Dohyun touched her face gently. "We will. I still need to show you the cherry blossoms in spring." A voice came over. "The speakers. 1 hour to launch. All personnel prepare for final checks." On the Emperor's will, Lord Sung-ho received troubling news. "My lord," Officer Kang reported, "we're detecting activity on Earth. They're preparing to launch some kind of vessel." "What kind of vessel?" Lord Sung-ho demanded. "Primitive. Chemical rockets. No advanced propulsion." Lord Sung-ho frowned. "Where is the Star Splitter now?" "In final position, my lord, ready to activate in 12 hours. Move it up. Begin the firing sequence now." Officer Kang looked alarmed. "My lord, the weapon requires a full charging cycle. Rushing could cause instability." "I don't care," Lord Sung-ho snapped. "The humans are planning something. We must strike. First." At the launch site, alarms suddenly blared. Dr. Yuna ran to her monitors. "They're activating the Star Splitter early," she shouted. "We have less than 3 hours before it fires." General Jiwoo grabbed a microphone. "Move up the launch. Get that rocket in the air now." Workers swarmed around the rocket. Minji and Do-hyun were rushed to the launch pad and helped into the cockpit. As the countdown began, Do-hyun looked at the small screen showing Dr. Yunha. "What about the power grid shutdown?" he asked. "We're starting it now," she replied. "The world is going dark, but we don't know if it will be enough time for the shield to fully expand." The countdown reached 0. Fire and smoke erupted from beneath the rocket. Slowly, the massive vehicle lifted off the pad, gaining speed as it rose into the blue sky. Inside, Minji and Do-hyun were pressed into their seats by the force. The rocket shook violently around them. Through the window, Do-hyun watched as his world grew smaller below. Across Earth, lights went out as country after country shut down their power grids. Cities went dark. Hospitals switched to emergency generators. The world held its breath. At EDI headquarters, Dr. Yunha watched as energy readings for the shield began to climb. On her screens, the blue glow that represented the shield grew brighter and expanded outward from Earth. "It's working," she whispered. The shield is growing. In space, the Imperial fleet detected the change. My lord, Officer Kang said with fear in his voice. The shield is expanding. Lord Sung-ho rushed to the viewport. He could see it now, a faint blue glow spreading from Earth, moving toward them. Impossible, he said. Move the fleet back. Don't let the shield touch our ships. The massive Imperial vessels began to retreat, but they were slow and the shield was moving faster than expected. The Star Splitter status? Lord Sung-ho demanded. 70% charged, my lord, but the shield will reach it before it's ready. Lord Sung-ho slammed his fist on the console. Fire it now, at whatever charge it has. In the old rocket, Minji checked their position using the paper star charts. They had left Earth's atmosphere and were now in open space. As expected, their advanced systems had failed, but the rocket itself still worked. We need to adjust course, she told Do-hyun. The Star Splitter is there. She pointed to a spot on the chart. Do-hyun nodded and manually fired the small thrusters. The rocket slowly changed direction. Through the window, they could see a strange device in the distance. It was the Star Splitter, a massive ring of dark metal with a glowing red center. It's charging, Minji said urgently. We need to get the amplifier in place now. Do-hyun opened a panel and took out the shield amplifier. It was glowing brighter than before, pulsing rapidly. He connected it to the rocket's simple power system. Ready? He said. Minji pressed the button to open the rocket's outer doors. The amplifier now had a clear path to send its signal, activating now. She turned the dial to full power. The amplifier shot a beam of bright blue light into space. It wasn't aimed at the Star Splitter. Instead, it connected with the shield that was expanding from Earth. The blue glow suddenly accelerated, racing across space toward them. It passed over their rocket without harming it, then continued toward. The Star Splitter, it's working, Do-hyun shouted. On the Imperial command ship, panic spread across the bridge. The shield has jumped forward, Officer Kang cried. It's reached the Star Splitter. On the main screen, they watched as the blue glow of the shield enveloped the weapon. The Star Splitter's red glow flickered, then began to pulse erratically. Us away from here, Lord Sung-ho ordered. But it was too late. The Star Splitter, caught in the shield's energy and trying to fire with an incomplete charge, began to fold in on itself. Light bent around it in impossible ways. Then, with a flash that momentarily outshone the sun, the Star Splitter imploded. The shockwave raced outward, catching the nearest Imperial ships and sending them spinning. The Emperor's will rocked violently. Systems failed across the ship. Emergency lights flashed. Lord Sung-ho stared at the destruction in disbelief. This is impossible, he whispered. In their rocket, Minji and Do-hyun held on as the shockwave hit them. The rocket tumbled end over end, but the simple systems continued to work. We did it, Minji said once they stabilized. The Star Splitter is gone. Do-hyun smiled. Now we just need to get home. He pointed the rocket back toward Earth and fired the thrusters. As they approached the atmosphere, they shut down all systems except life support. Then they strapped themselves in tightly. Ready for a rough ride? Do-hyun asked. Minji took his hand. With you? Always. The rocket entered Earth's atmosphere, heating up as it fell. At the right moment, Do-hyun pulled the manual release. The top of the rocket blew off, and the parachutes deployed. Slowly, they floated down toward the blue ocean below. 3 months later, a historic meeting took place at the edge of Earth's solar system. The shield had pulled back to its original position around Earth, allowing the meeting to happen. The Emperor himself had come, in a ship more magnificent than any seen before. He met with Earth's leaders on a neutral vessel built by humans using their new understanding of technology that could work with the shield rather than against it. For the first time in the Empire's 10,000-year history, they signed a treaty recognizing a world's independence. As the human delegation returned to Earth, Dr. Yunha looked at her readings of the shield. It's still growing stronger, she told General Jiwoo, slowly but steadily. What does that mean for us? He asked. Dr. Yunha smiled. It means Earth has a bright future among the stars. not as a conquest, but as an equal. At Do-Yun's farm, now famous across the world and galaxy, cherry trees bloomed. Under their pink blossoms, Do-Hyun and Minji walked hand in hand. "Your people call Earth the untouchable world now," Minji said. Do-Hyun nodded. "Yet you touched it, and it touched you back." Minji smiled. "Perhaps that's the real shield. Not what keeps others out, but what lets the right ones in." Above them, the stars shone with new possibility.